What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Purple and Gold podcast. Today, I want to talk about two rookie corners who are playing extremely well right now. That's Sauce Gardner for the New York Jets and Tariq Woolen for the Seattle Seahawks. Now, before we get any further into this video, please consider subscribing. On the road to 500 subscribers, I would really appreciate if you guys can do that. But without further ado, let's get straight into this thing. So Sauce Gardner had high expectations coming into the draft. Obviously, as you can see, a round one, pick 4 selection coming out of the University of Cincinnati, and he was an absolute dog. I mean, he was a huge reason why this team was in the college football playoff last year. Truly a difference maker at the cornerback position, and has really solidified himself as a lockdown corner and already one of the best corners in the league, in my opinion. He is living up to all of the hype and expectations, and he is just playing out of his mind now. Taking a look at the statistics so far, this is according to PFF. We're not going to look so much at his overall grade that they give him because PFF's grading system is a little whack, in my opinion. I really only use that grade for offensive linemen, where it's a little bit harder to judge them because they don't have as many statistics to look at. But taking a look at the cornerback position, I'm going to take these stats into account, and especially the receptions allowed on the targets. Guys, the numbers that you're seeing on your screen right now are absolutely fantastic. 17 receptions allowed on 40 targets. Now, I did the math on my phone, and that comes out to a 42% completion percentage when thrown at. Now, if you don't know, that's really, really good. That is extremely good. He has the 11th most targets in the league and is ranked 60th in the amount of receptions he's allowed. That is a ridiculous gap, and 42% is a ridiculous number for a rookie cornerback to be putting up. I don't care how much hype there is behind you as a prospect. I mean, there are some guys who have been in the league for 5+ years and will never be able to put up the numbers that he's doing in his rookie season. And look, this isn't a guy that I'm just looking at just statistically and I'm blown away by it. Okay? The Jets have been on my TV for quite a bit of the time this season. Sauce Gardner is making play week after week. He has not disappointed. I mean, this is really the next Darrelle Revis for the New York Jets. And, what a fantastic job that they've done in terms of this draft class so far. I mean, Garrett Wilson is playing extremely well. Unfortunately, Breece Hall tore his ACL, but there's a lot of optimism for him in the future. They've done a great job so far with this draft class. Sauce Gardner is leading the way. And he's got only one interception, but I'll tell you what, a lot of teams, and I mean not a lot, every team will take a lockdown corner like a Sauce Gardner who's only going to allow 42%. I mean, look, I know this is like pretty obvious when I say this, but less than half the time the receiver's going to catch it against him. That's crazy. That's really crazy considering how athletic a lot of these receivers are and how much speed they possess. Sauce is doing a phenomenal job as a rookie, and to think that he can only get better from this point on, really a scary thought. So he's doing a great job. Also, you can see that he's a very willing tackler. 27 tackles so far this season. But he's a real reason and a huge reason why this defense has had so much success this year. His ability to lock down receivers is helping this defensive line get more pressure. And both sides, and when I mean both sides, I mean the secondary and, the front seven. They're really complementing each other really well right now. Sauce Gardner was a phenomenal pick for the New York Jets at number 4 overall. Now, the other guy that I want to talk about, you guys saw this, you clicked on the video, Tariq Woolen. Now look, this is a guy picked in round 5, pick 153. Now, this is the first thing that we're going to talk about, okay? It's easy to say now that he should have gone higher, but taking a look at him in the draft process, I definitely didn't think he was going to be a 5th round pick. That's pretty low. I thought maybe he was more of a round 3, round 4 guy, and that might not seem, that significant to you guys, but I mean, to drop 2 rounds out of what I projected him to be, I thought was a little crazy considering how fast he ran the 40, right? And just his length. I mean, he has very, very long arms. He's a 6'4" cornerback with that kind of speed. and that kind of movement skills, I just thought was insane. Now, the reason why I don't think he was worthy of a round one, round two pick is because, for one, he played for University of Texas San Antonio. I believe that's Conference USA. But either way, whatever conference they're in, it's not a Power Five conference, so it's a question of, was the competition you're going against not as good? And there just wasn't a ton of tape on him either. At least that was available to me, so I wasn't really sold. I was like, it's one thing for a guy to have the physical traits, but you got to have the film to back it up as well, and we just didn't see a ton of that. So it's understandable why he went later, but round five to me, I just thought maybe he would have gone maybe, two, maybe the round before, in round three, round four. But all that aside, he is playing extremely well. And you know what the Seahawks have been able to do on defense, considering that they have two rookies starting at cornerback, and that's very rare to see in the NFL. Him and Kobe Bryant, I mean, Kobe Bryant not as much, but Tariq Woolen is doing a great job holding it down at the cornerback position. We're going to take a look at his statistics now. He also has a very respectable PFF grade, but like I said, we're not going to take that into account. There's one stat that stands out, guys. We're going to get to it in a second. But he's got 18 receptions allowed on 32 targets. Now, let me pull up my calculator again so we can see what the math on that is. That's about 56% of the time he's going to allow a completion, and 56% completion percentage when thrown against him. That is also a very, very respectable number, considering he was a fifth-round pick, and he's going up against every team's number one wide receiver. Look, 56% is a fantastic number. Obviously, not as low as Sauce Gardner's, but the reason why I'm having this conversation and this debate right now is because he has 4 interceptions, which, as you can see, is number 1 in the league. He's got a nose for the football, and he's making plays. I mean, it seems like he's always around the football. He's having that Trevon Diggs. I'm not saying he's going to be a first-team All-Pro like Trevon Diggs was last year, but, in terms of like consistently week in, week out, finding the football, he's been able to do it this first half of the season, and he's really caught some attention now. Very interesting. He's also got 22 tackles, so as you can see, just like Sauce Gardner, he also is a very willing tackler, but you're really starting to see his entire skill set come together. He's really, turning into one of the better corners in the league very quickly, and he's shocking a lot of people. That's all I gotta say, including myself. I valued him as a round 3, round 4 guy, and I did not anticipate he was gonna, make this much of an impact year 1. So, great stuff that we're seeing from both of these cornerbacks. Of course, we're obviously more surprised from Tariq Woolen because the expectations weren't as high, but the numbers are just insane. Now, look, I think anytime you can get your offensive football back, I definitely think that that's extremely valuable. And I think, it's even more impressive considering that he's a rookie as a number 1 corner on his team doing it as well. Look, I love both of these guys, but if I'm going to make a prediction on if the season ended today and the people who vote for the awards had to vote who is the better cornerback and who's going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year, I think it'd be Tariq Woolen because, we saw how much the interception total matters to people, right? Some people didn't think Trevon Diggs deserved to be first-team All-Pro last year, but was because of his high interception total. If that's how they're going to judge it off of, right? And I think Tariq Woolen has done enough, in terms of the other stat, like completion percentage. He's done enough to prove that, or make an argument that he is the number 1 cornerback in this rookie class this year. I wouldn't be shocked if the season ended today that he would be the Defensive Rookie of the Year. In the long term, though, it's tough to say, man. Look, Sauce Gardner's not a slump either because I could easily see this going either way. Sauce Gardner could be the Defensive Rookie of the Year at the end of the year. I think in the long term, I feel more safe about Sauce Gardner, and he's going to be one of those guys where teams do not want to test him, You really don't want to be on, what are we going to call it, Gardner Sauce Island now, right? It's a tough call. But I will say, as of right now, sitting here after week 7 of the NFL season, I'm going to say Tariq Woolen is the better corner out of the two. And I really, really like Sauce Gardner too. It's close, don't get me wrong, but when you got 3 more interceptions and the completion percentage is also looking really good at 56%. I'm gonna take those interceptions. Those are really quality interceptions he's getting too. Now, in terms of Sauce Gardner, I don't want to degrade what he's doing or say that he's not as valuable, because this guy is going to be a franchise-changing player for the New York Jets. We're already seeing the results here in year one. I think he's been putting up fantastic numbers too. But look, I just think he hasn't had as many interceptions, just because you're not going to give him those 50-50 opportunities, which he was so good at Cincinnati. I mean, teams watch film. They know what to go against, what not to go against when you see these guys. And I think we're finding out really quickly that Tariq Woolen has just as much skill as Sauce Gardner does. As controversial as that may seem, I mean, we're seeing it on the field at the highest level now in the NFL. The playing field is even. I really like what I'm seeing from both of these guys, but like I said, Tariq Woolen has the edge right now. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And again, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys all later.